Whatever we fear actually governs us, dictates our lives. Actually, I would like to rephrase that. It is not what we fear that actually dictates our lives. It is just the very thought of what we fear that dictates our lives. Why do I say that? Why this change? And why it is so important to make this distinction? Let's look at it with help of an example. I think most of us fear death. For most of us, that is our number one fear, death. But the actual death happens only once, and there is a finality to it. You can't die twice, can you? So if you fear death, it's obvious that it's not the actual death which as a fear dictates your life, it's the very thought of death. How do most of us deal with fear? Most of us deal with this fear, or like I restated, the very thought of whatever we fear, by avoiding it. As soon as we even start thinking about our fear, let's continue with the same example, our own death or the death of someone close to us. Even if that thought comes to us, we immediately, consciously, we put effort into changing that thought. I just don't want to think about this. We either move on to some other thoughts, or we just simply distract ourselves. We are lucky that way, we can do that. But does this ever work? Doesn't the same thought come to us again and again? Maybe even stronger. And sometimes this thought can be a memory which is repressed from childhood. The fact is, we can never run away our fears. We can never walk away from our fears. We just can't avoid them. Second way that most of us actually deal with our fears, and this is a very commonly given advice: fight your fears. How is that working out for you? If you actually deal with your fear this way, by fighting it, then this fight is actually gonna govern your entire life. You'll spend your entire life fighting your fears. Sounds brave. Sounds courageous. But to me, that doesn't sound like a very pleasant or the right way to live. We all get just one shot at life. Do we really want to spend it all fighting, hiding, trying to run away? The third way that most of us deal with our fears is, and this is again a very, very often given advice: face your fears. Now, what image actually comes to your mind when I use this phrase, face your fear? At least to me, the image that comes to my mind is a big, tiny, scary giant of whatever I fear and facing it courageously, a small little me. That's what it feels like when those thoughts come. When you face your fear, you feel so small, so weak, and this big, large fear just standing over you. That too doesn't seem right, does it? So the question actually comes, if running doesn't help, if avoiding doesn't help, if fighting doesn't help, if coming to it face to face, if that doesn't help, then how do we actually deal with our fears? According to me, the answer is we accept our fear. What do I mean by acceptance? Don't accept your fear as something apart from you, something distant from you. Accept your fear as a very part of you. It is no different from you. When you feel anger, you're anger itself. When you fear something, you are that fear itself. Don't run away. Don't avoid it. Most of us have actually never done that. Don't banish that thought. Stick with it. If possible, smile at it. Acknowledge it. Yes, there is that fear again. But what you should not do is add on to that thought. Don't feed that thought. Just accept it. There is my favorite fear again. Watch that fear come. Watch that fear go. If you want to add to it, if you can't help but add to it, again, don't run away from it. The Stoics had a way of dealing with it. Think of the worst case scenario. Accept the worst case scenario. Most of us, for our particular fear, whatever that is, don't even think about the worst case scenario. We are just so busy riding up, away from it, hiding away from it, running away from it. Think about the worst case scenario. What that fear will lead you to. Job loss, ill health, death. Surprisingly for many people, public speaking. Take it to the worst case scenario. Chances are you will come to realize that the worst case scenario, if you think about it, is actually not that bad. You are equipped to face it. And chances are you have already faced it. The worst things that have happened to you so far in life, you have faced them, haven't you? So to sum it up, accept your fear. Accept it as a part of you. Please don't run away from it. Don't hide from it. Don't avoid it. Don't fight it. It's you. How can you fight it? Acknowledge it. Accept it. If possible, smile at it. Yes, here is my favorite fear again. But don't add to it. Slowly but surely, watch it go away.